All right, I want to find out what my guests think we should know, and we'll start with you, Selena.
I think next week I would look to see if Peter King at Sports Illustrated follows through on some of the thinking there and refuses to use the word Redskins when the NFL season kicks off and calls them the Washington football team. I would look to see if they follow through on that kind of discourse they've had internally.
All right, and Mike?
So we've been talking about a sport that encompasses strength and courage and valor. The original sport like that is wrestling, and wrestling's on the Olympic chopping block. 1 week from today, the vote will be announced if wrestling continues in the Olympics in 2020 and beyond. It is between wrestling and squash. Squash is a fine sport, a good vegetable, but it's not wrestling.
I'm with you. Keep wrestling. Screw squash.
Steve, I know you guys talk a lot on this show about America's place in the world. Well, America's place in the tennis world is now somewhere short of Poland's place in the tennis world. Through 3 rounds at the U.S. Open, only one American man survives, a guy named Tim Smyczek. Ever heard of him? And Serena Williams is playing the only other up-and-coming American on the women's side, Sloane Stephens, today. So America, a long way to go. It'll be 10 years this year since an American man won a Grand Slam tennis tournament.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to bring up Chris Christie. He's not able to bet on the NFL in Atlantic City this week, even though his voters said we want betting in Atlantic City. He could do it in Bermuda, he could do it in Montenegro, but he can't do it in New Jersey. And that court case is continuing.
All right. Well, you can't do it in New Jersey, but if you happen to be in a place where you can legally, I want to stress that, legally bet on sports, Kansas State over Louisiana Lafayette next week. It's a bounce-back game. It's my pick of the week. Releasing it right now. I want to thank Selena Roberts of Roops to Go. I'm sorry. I got to learn these ahead of time.com. Mike Pesca of NPR, Rob Simmelcare of NBC Sports, and author Evan Weiner. Thank you for getting up this morning.